Hey there, effortless runners. It's Coach Eric here with a quick little video on foot strike. How should I run and what should my foot strike be like? Well, here's a little knowledge nugget for you. We have 4 different types of movement gait, right? We can walk, we can jog, we can run, and we can sprint. So if we start on either on the both of the extremes, when you sprint, you're on the ball of your foot and you don't have any time to drop that heel to the ground because you want the ground contact time to be as little as possible because you got to fire out and go away again, right? So when you're sprinting, you're literally only on the balls of your foot and you're bam, 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 running to the finish line as quickly as possible. You can afford to do that because you don't have to run for that long. You're in a sprint. So the load that you put onto the joints, you can hold that for that short amount of time. Way on the other end, when you're walking, you're actually kind of controlled falling. So you're leaning forward, and when you make a step, because you're not going that fast, you can afford to land on your heel, then roll onto your midfoot, and then kind of toe off again before you walk and take your next step. So sprinting is 4 foot only, bam, 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 really quick. Walking is heel strike, then onto your midfoot, and then roll off. So you have a 3-point contact with a walk, and you have a 1-point contact with your sprint. Now, where it gets a little bit more complicated is when you jog or when you run. So when you're jogging, when you've moved up 1 gear from your walking pace, you can sometimes get away with the heel kiss and just land and roll off. So kind of like speed walking, but you're doing it in a jogging gait. Right? When you move when you move more towards the faster end of your pace, when you're going into your running mode, you can't afford to land on that heel anymore because the ground reaction force is too high and will go up into your hips. And often people complain about knee issues or hip issues when they are running and overstriding and heel striking. So when you start running, really what you want to do is you want to kind of move into that sprinting gait, but because you are not running as fast, you do have the time to allow the whole foot to drop to the ground, absorb the impact, and then move off again. So when you're running, right, land on the ball of your foot, allow the foot to drop down, allow the whole foot to drop down onto the ground. That is perfectly fine. And then you spring off again. Okay? So walking, 3 points of contact, heel, mid, toe. Jogging, either or, whatever feels good for you. Some people like to do a heel kiss and then kind of roll on. Other people already move onto the ball of their foot, but then allow their whole foot to touch the ground. When you move to your faster gait, when you're really running, right, then you really want to make sure that you plant the ball of your foot, but do allow a little time to have that whole foot touch the ground to kind of dissipate all the energy that you're putting into the front of your foot, because only running on the balls of your foot could be very tiring for a really long time if you're doing long distance, and that might aggravate your Achilles issues or plantar fasciitis, which is quite common, right? And then finally, if you really have to sprint, then yes, for that short amount of time, really only drive from the ground by placing the ball of your foot there. So that was a really quick knowledge nugget for you on the walking gaits or on all the movement gaits and how your foot should behave in that. I hope that was helpful, and see you again next time. Happy training!